Question number 25. What is the equation of this line? Well, they're referencing the line that's on the graph. And we should be able to see that clearly. Take a look at this line. We can note a couple things. Two things that are important to figure out the equation of this line. Number one is, what's the y-intercept? Well, here's the origin. 1, 2, 3. The y-intercept is positive 3. And the slope. Let's take a look at the slope. I'm going to start from this point and go to this point. So rise is first. Let's go ahead and write this down. What is our rise? Our rise is 1, 2. That's a positive 2. Our run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is a movement on the x-axis in the negative direction. You can see that's the negative direction there. So because of that, we're going to put negative 6. So run is negative 6. That means our slope is negative 2 over 6, which we can simplify. Both of those numbers are divisible by 2, and we have negative 1 over 3. So negative 1 over 3. Take a look at our line just to reference it. Is definitely a negative slope. As we move from left to right, the line is going down, or the y value is decreasing. That means it's a negative slope. So we got a negative slope here. That makes sense. So what is the equation of this line? Not a problem at all. Once we have the slope and the y-intercept, we can write the equation is, oops, spell that right. The equation is y equals negative 1/3. There's our slope, x value, that goes together with our slope. And then we have a positive 3 as our y-intercept. So there is our equation of the line on this graph. Now, number 26 says, graph a perpendicular line passing through, and we should get rid of this s, by the way, cross that off class. Graph a perpendicular line. In fact, I can use an eraser here. Graph a perpendicular line passing through negative 3, negative 5. Well, let's plot that point first. Negative 3, negative 5. I'll scroll up a little bit. Let's go negative 3 on the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, and negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is negative 3, negative 5. I'm going to change that color. Okay, there is our point, negative 3, negative 5. Now the first question is, before we want to graph this line, we're going to have to figure out what the new slope is. Well, remember, opposite reciprocal. So our original slope of our line is negative 1/3. Let's take the reciprocal, which is 3 over 1. And we flipped the sign. It was negative. Now it's positive. So our new slope is actually 3 over 1. You could actually write that as 3. It's the same thing. Both of those answers are correct. And now we're going to have to graph this because we have to figure out what the y-intercept is in 27. So let's go ahead and plot some points. If our slope is positive 3 over 1, starting from our known point on our new line, we go rise, which is 3, run, which is 1, positive. Rise, which is 3, run, which is 1. Rise, which is 3, run, which is 1. And notice, because I kept on going because I wanted to hit the y-intercept, or the y-axis. If I stopped right here and drew a line, I may not draw it very accurate. I'm going to have to guess what the y-intercept is. As long as I kept on going with my 3 over 1, or rise over run, I finally hit a point on the y-axis. Let's go ahead and create that line. Again, we're using a straight edge to get as accurate as we possibly can. There's our perpendicular line. Let's go ahead and draw some arrows on it. Alright, so we've accomplished number 26. What is the y-intercept of the new line? Now we should be able to see it. The y-intercept is at 1, 2, 3, 4. It used to be at 3, now it's at y equals 4. The y intercept is positive 4, or just write the number 4. What is the equation of the new line? The equation, well, we've got our new slope. We have our y-intercept. All we have to do is write the equation. The equation is y equals, think about it yourself, you should be working ahead of me on this one. It's slope, which is 3, our new slope is positive 3. X goes together with the slope, our y-intercept is 4, so we have 3x plus 4. And the last part, which I talked through in the previous video, we'll talk about it again, it's really the same answer that you have written for question number 24. We're going to compare and contrast, take a look at these two lines. They only really have one thing in common. They meet at one point, an intersection point. There's our common point. They're different because they have different slopes and different y-intercepts. The only other thing I can think of that you might write here is that you know these two lines are perpendicular, and that means they meet at a right angle. So maybe somewhere in your compare and contrast you can put on there, these two lines have opposite reciprocal slopes, so they meet at a 90-degree angle, or they are perpendicular. And that is the end of the notes.